Hi students. This is the last of the video story times that I'm going to be recording this year. We're almost done with the school year. It's hard to believe. So the book I've chosen for today for our final read aloud this year is The Antlered Ship. The writer is Dashka Slater and the illustrators are they go by the Fan brothers. They are indeed brothers and they call themselves the Fan brothers. It is a beautiful book. It is not new. This happens to be my own copy that I have at my house, but we have this book at school and I have read it many times at school. It's a real favorite of mine, so I look forward to reading it to you. I like this story because it has a lot to do with uncertainty and with adventure, and I hope you like it. So I'm going to get settled here. I'm going to take the dust jacket off to make the book easier to hold, and I'm going to turn my computer a little bit, move myself a little bit. There, I think that should do it. Maybe angle the computer down a little bit. When we open the book up, this is the book without its dust jacket, by the way. It's very beautiful. When we open it up, we do have interesting end papers. We have a map, because this is the story of a journey. So the journey starts over here. You can see there is the antlered ship right there, and this is the course that it's going to follow. We have the same end papers on the back, and they are very pretty. So let's read our story. The Antlered Ship. The day the antlered ship arrived, Marco wondered about the wide world. Marco is, of course, a fox. He had so many questions. Why do some songs make you happy and others make you sad? Why don't trees ever talk? How deep does the sun go when it sinks into the sea? But when he posed these questions to the other foxes, they grew silent. What does that have to do with chicken stew? They would ask. So Marco went down to the harbor to see the ship. 3 deer greeted him at the gangplank. Marco wasn't surprised to learn that they were lost. We hope to hire a seaworthy crew, explained Sylvia, the captain. I'm afraid we aren't very good sailors. I will join you, Marco said. He thought to himself, I will search the seas for foxes who know the answers to my questions. A pigeon named Victor volunteered along with his entire flock. We want to have adventures, they cried. Welcome aboard, Captain Sylvia said. We're going to a wonderful island with tall, sweet grass and short, sweet trees. When we get there, we'll eat a delectable dinner. So you can see everyone is on the journey for some purpose. They're searching for something. But the voyage was more difficult than anyone expected. It rained, waves crashed over the sides of the deck. Why is water so wet? Marco wondered. The pigeons weren't used to the hard work of raising and lowering the sails. After the first day, they went below decks to play checkers and stayed there. The deer worried about the sharp rocks and fierce pirates and feeling seasick. They huddled in the bow and waited for something bad to happen. After days of drifting and dining on crackers, the animals were damp and cranky. We should have stayed in the woods, Sylvia said. Deer aren't supposed to go to sea. We should have stayed in the park, added Victor. Pigeons aren't supposed to do hard labor. Marco eyed the deer and the pigeon. Foxes aren't supposed to be vegetarian, he said. Still, we must do the best we can. That evening, Marco found a recipe book in the galley and cooked a warm and reviving stew. Should we look at the charts, he asked after everyone had eaten. We might find adventure here, said Victor. And trouble here, said Sylvia. But we'll find the island with tall, sweet grass and short, sweet trees here. And perhaps foxes too, Marco thought. Foxes with answers. As they plotted their course, the wind picked up. The storm clouds thinned into marvelous swirls. "Raise the sails!" Sylvia cried. In the morning, they came to the maze of sharp rocks, each one large enough to tear the bottom from the boat. But the pigeons flew ahead, tracing a path through the shoals and sharp rocks to the safety of the open sea. The next afternoon, a pirate ship burst from behind a rocky island. "Turn over your treasure," the pirate captain bellowed, "or we'll put a hole in your helm." Look at those great-looking pirates. "Lower the antlers," Sylvia commanded. The ships clashed and crashed and smashed until the pirates turned and fled. That evening, an island appeared on the horizon with tall waving grasses and short swaying trees. "We've found it!" Sylvia cried. "We've triumphed!" Victor cooed. "Do you see any foxes?" Marco asked. The deer grazed the grass and nibbled the trees. The pigeons told stories of their adventures to a flock of admiring seagulls. Marco scoured the island for foxes. But he didn't find any. "I have failed," Marco told Victor and Sylvia. "No foxes. No one to answer my questions." "What questions?" Victor asked. Marco took a deep breath. "Do islands like being alone? Do waves look more like horses or swans? And what's the best way to find a friend you can talk to?" "Well, that last one's easy," Sylvia said. "You make friends by eating together." "I disagree," said Victor. "You make friends by having adventures together." "Maybe you're both right," Marco said, "but I think you make friends by asking them questions." "Well then," mused Sylvia, "should we head home tomorrow? Or should we visit the island of scrumptious shrubbery?" "Are 2 adventures enough?" asked Victor. "Or shall we have at least one more?" "Is it better to know what's going to happen," wondered Marco, "or better to be surprised?" There were so many questions left to answer, and so many more to ask. So, in the morning, they raised the anchor and hoisted the heavy sails. They knew now that the wind would come and go. The clouds would sometimes make marvelous swirls and sometimes make them wet, and that everything they hoped to find could be found aboard an antlered ship on the way to wherever they were going. And that's our story. Have a wonderful summer. I hope it is filled with adventures to the best of our ability, and questions, and of course friends. And I hope you find marvelous things to read. I do encourage you to read every day. The more you read, the easier and more fun it gets. So that's our story for today. Take care, and I will see you in the fall.